Mr. Brian Gara.
What's going on?
How you doing, man?
Welcome.
Super good.
Welcome to the podcast.
Welcome. Yeah,
I love this.
Been meaning to get you on for a while.
This dark and moody setup on a nice dark and moody night.
Yeah, thanks for coming out, man.
I know what happened to the weather.
I know. It was really nice and it got really bad.
I went to Bunnings today purely for lunch, just to get some barbecue sausages, get some hot dogs.
Ooh.
What? Really?
Yeah.
To pay the $2 just to get...
No, it's $5. I got 2 hot dogs.
Right.
For $5.
I'm a big fan of just the onions. I just like a bun full of onions
Yeah.
and barbecue sauce on the bottom.
Pay the $2 and just get onions. Yeah.
No, they just give it to me for free normally.
Is it no? What are they called? Because I don't get onions. I hate onions. And
I'll take the onions.
and they were just like what 2. They just said 2 without, because all they have is hot dogs and onions. So it's just 2 without.
Right.
What are they? The kebab shops and it's like no fro or something.
No fro?
No idea what
the
you're
old
talking
kebab
about.
shop, and you asked for something, and they're like, oh, and no fro. No, it was Fast Eddie's. Remember Fast Eddie's used to be up.
What does
before
no
there?
fro mean?
I don't know.
No
No
frozen
afro?
yogurt.
What the fro was? I don't know what the fro was.
Tell us a bit about yourself, man. 'Cause I love how I just like cut through that.
I'm also a big fan of Bunnings, so
Okay, yeah.
I'm with you on that one.
Right.
I like a good stroll on a nice day.
Yep.
You know, some people like to go on the beach barefoot. I like to go through Bunnings with my shoes on.
Right. Nice.
Yep. Just an American in Australia.
How long have you been here?
8 years.
You've been here a while. Okay.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
right.
Long enough, I think, so far.
You're from Connecticut,
Yes.
but you moved to
Yep.
New York?
Connecticut, Manhattan. Lived in Brooklyn, and then moved back to Connecticut for a bit, and then to California, and then to here. Yeah,
Do you mind if I ask how old you are?
30.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
What was your guess? I should have had you guess.
No, I thought I was thinking 30,
Yeah.
30 something. Yeah.
I got 22 the other day, and I said,
Oh, you lucky bastard.
Ooh. Ooh, obviously, you only saw me from the waist up.
No, that's cool, man. How many Americans have we had on this podcast? Not that many.
I was kind of hoping to be the first.
Colin Ebsworth, his parents are American.
His
right?
parents are American, but I think he was.
He was born.
So technically, he's American.
Well,
Technically, he is.
yeah.
Yeah.
We actually had this debate whether your nationality is based on what the government piece of paper, birth certificate says, or where your blood is from.
Yeah, I think that's a messy topic, definitely to debate for sure, because, yeah, it depends. It depends. I mean, I still, I don't really consider myself any nationality, because my fiance's family's Colombian, and a lot of times they say I'm more Colombian than they are. So,
Weird.
so,
Yeah.
and when I speak Spanish, I've been told that I could pass as a Colombian. So,
You can speak Spanish?
yes.
Can you do this entire podcast in Spanish?
Sí, claro que sí. Yo puedo hacerlo, pero my grammar is terrible usually. And
That's cool, man.
You gotta like change your gears.
Yeah, because even
think,
like
yeah.
the grammar's different, right?
It's reversed.
Yep. That's
Pretty
with a lot
much.
of languages. You gotta the words are like the
I know.
the syntax is like
almost say
it's
like the
different, yeah.
end of the sentence first, and I don't know how
Yeah.
languages work.
Yeah.
I
You work your way.
speak English and bad English, and
Well, you speak English and Australian then as well.
Mainly bad English. Yeah. So that's cool.
Yeah.
At what point did you get into? Would you call yourself a media broadcast person? Is that what you would?
Yes. Now, definitely. I'm leaning hard into. I produce podcasts.
Right, but that wasn't your first thing, though, right?
No.
Yeah.
Well, no. I'm a self-taught video editor.
Right.
I made a lot of like silly videos when I was younger, and I got injured a lot doing extreme sports. So at some point I started kind of dialing it back just because I couldn't do the things that I wanted to do.
We gotta dwell on this topic. Extreme sports, like what?
Back in the forest BMX where you build your own tracks and
Yes,
jumps, but like
yes.
really big jumps, like 14
Okay.
feet in the air and down again, and like big stuff. And snowboarding, but on the rails and all that stuff, and skiing on moguls and
Doing tricks and stuff?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Cool.
Nothing crazy, but still fun
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
But I bumped my head a few times, pretty hard.
That explains it.
Yeah. Yes.
That's cool, man.
My voice sounds a lot slower in my head, so.
So then you got into broadcasting just what, through family or just through?
Well, it's we had cameras through the group of friends, but since I was hurt all the time, I started filming everyone doing the stuff, and I had way more fun being creative that way. Mm-hmm. I was always pretty creative, drawing and poetry and stuff, but it was more very private. But I think doing videos was my first foray into being more public with my creativity, and it was really nice.
Right, yeah, that's weird. I've always preferred being behind the camera than in front of it. Like right now, I still hate being on camera. It's weird. It's weird. It's the thing that I don't think I'll ever get over. But I think it gets less bad the more you do it, obviously. But
I think that's just you're born with that too, though. I mean, people can get over stage fright, but there's always going to be that in the back of your head. I mean, right now, I could probably walk out into the middle of the street and give a 5-minute speech on why the rain feels nice, and I'd be fine. Right. Like, I've always been good with that. So.
I can't do that now.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool, man.
But I'm also full of shit usually, so I just kind of fake it.
Should we do it properly? So you're part of the Rocket Pod? Rocket?
Yeah. Well, I am Rocket Podcasting.
You are Rocket Podcasting. Yeah.
Cool.
I don't think we didn't actually introduce.
Oh, right.
That.
Yeah. And
hey, I'm Brian, and I'm a podcaster.
Obviously, we're not podcasters. We don't know how to do this.
We're still learning.
Well, you still have better gear than probably 90% of people out there, so you're on the right track.
I think that's more embarrassing than the fact that we have a lot of gear and like we're still doing our podcast for our friends.
Well, now that I know what you have, I can always hit you up for mic rentals maybe or something like that.
Definitely. If you need some extra gear, we got a lot. Like, we love facilitating other people's podcasts as well.
Oh,
I think
we have actually done that in the past. A few people. Other people who want to do a podcast, we've lent the gear out and helped them set up, and we did that for one of some of the guys that do the wrestling. One of our mates, he's part of like the Perth wrestling organization, and they did like a sort of a podcast press conference type thing, and we lent them out all the gear and do that.
Definitely, yeah. With Sarah, with her podcast as well. Yeah. So we've had quite a few people. We love facilitating other people's stuff. I imagine you're very much the same, right?
Oh, I love it. I love it. My whole studio, air quotes. Camera. Yeah. My whole studio fits inside of a check bag suitcase. That's kind of always been my goal. I would love the. I don't know if you remember the Jetsons, but a lot of times they had a button and then it would just create a room.
Just folds out.
Yeah. So I want that, but for podcasting. So I always want to make one of those like tradie boxes, and it just like parks, and you open the top, and the mic arms would just fold out.
Yeah,
ready to go.
We were fantasizing, not fantasizing. That's such a weird word. We were coming up with a system as well, like a rack system. I think we wanted to do, but basically something that you could pick up and put anywhere and set up within 15 minutes.
Well, I found a thing. I already found a thing that would be good. It's a tradie. It's like a tradie box, but it's like a cleaning trolley on wheels, but it's more tradie grade. I just saw it the other day at my 9 to 5, and it's awesome. Yeah. Definitely. It has like locked drawers, and like it's hefty. It's not just a
bit of foam, little foam
awesome.
Template things.
You can do whatever you want with it, but it would be good. It would be, it's probably the size of this coffee table in front of me. You just roll it into the room and be ready to go.
We just got a plastic tub.
Nice.
Big plastic tub.
Yeah. Pile it all into the plastic tub, step on it, and then put the lid on it. But no, like we used to have big. I mean, we used to run my entire desktop computer. I'd put my desktop computer in my car and drive that to the hen house studio.
Yeah.
We set that up. We had my guitar effects processor running as our audio interface.
Yeah.
And then we slowly just sort of tried to dial it down. And
you ever heard of a laptop?
we had the nice big thick laptops back then, and then we had the Surface, but that wasn't as efficient.
It was basically playing chicken. Every podcast because anything could go wrong, and it did go wrong quite a few times.
It did go wrong. Blue screen of death halfway through a podcast.
We've had things crash on us.
Good old Windows.
Exactly, yeah. Especially when you're recording like 2-3 hours at one time, and then it crashes. But That's when we got this guy, the Zoom.
H6, H5,
H6.
H6.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Just the
Nice.
fact that it doesn't crash. It has batteries.
Yes.
Bring
Yeah.
it anywhere. I've podcasted with that in my bag, and then just walked around with a SM58. Was it 58? Just a traditional stage mic.
Yeah, that's SM58.
58, yeah.
That's
Yeah.
cool. That's
Yeah.
how some of my other favorite Ari Shafir, he's an American comedian.
Mm.
He does all of his shows with some hand-me-down 58s from
Right.
Joe Rogan, actually.
When he's not drugging Bert Kreischer.
I think he's just drugging himself these days for now.
He copped so much shit from that. Yeah.
Well, now he's, Legion of Skanks has thrown him under the bus a few times recently.
Yeah.
They made him admit that he hates Brendan, not hates, but he doesn't think Brendan Schaub's a real comedian. And
There's a bit of that. Yeah.
there's some things happening there.
It's pretty sad. Yeah. Because
yeah.
when we first started the podcast, I don't think we were even Rogan fans at the time.
I'm still not really a Rogan fan.
Yeah. I mean, I'm hot and cold with Rogan, but he really showed how the sheer volume of what you could put out
Definitely.
in terms of quantity, like
Definitely.
1,000
Well, it
something
was-
podcasts.
What year were we in the US? It was
2015?
No. It was 2013. I think it was.
2014.
No, it was 13. I'm
Okay,
sure it was
yeah,
13. It was
And you just showed up to a studio expecting to be able to go in.
We went to the Ice House, right?
the Ice House in
Oh,
Pasadena.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
We met Joe and we saw Joey Diaz and all them there.
Yeah.
But I don't think his podcast was even kicking off.
That's where Bobby Lee's studio is, just upstairs.
Is it the
Ice
same
House?
place now?
Oh, is that the one where he has that kind of
Maybe not the one now.
barbershop one? Okay, yeah.
But
yeah.
I think earlier, well, I guess early this year, like mid last year.
I think at that sort of time, the Ice House Chronicles was
Oh,
on,
yes.
and that's when they were
Yeah,
recording.
Red Band was there.
Yeah. In that big room out the back. We saw them going in and out. The lineup was insane. It was Tony Hinchcliffe,
Yep.
Red Band,
Bert Kreischer.
Bert Kreischer.
Before he was big.
Yeah. Tom
Blunt
Segura.
Leichner. Yeah.
Burnt Chrysler.
Burnt Chrysler.
Tom Segura, and then it ended with with Joe Rogan. Yeah, yeah.
That's cool. That's
Yeah,
really
that
cool.
was really
I
cool.
still haven't seen all those guys in person. I had tickets to Bert when he came last, and then last minute it was a sold out show. We didn't feel like going, so I just doubled. I sold them for double.
Wow.
it was not bad. I did get to see Chris D'Elia before he got canceled when he came here. That was nice.
Yeah. Chris. Yeah. So that whole that a lot of people are thinking that the golden age of that crew, it might be kind of the end of it now. They're kind of moving. Other places,
they're all moving away now,
Yeah.
and so that's why have a goal to create one studio where all the podcasters can go to in Perth.
Yes, please do that.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm going to be doing, I want to do lessons. I'm already doing one-on-one coaching stuff, and
There you go.
I'll do like a 4-hour session. I'm building a course right now with a guy, like launch your podcast in a few days sort of thing.
There's just a weird thing where I don't think people are afraid to cross-pollinate, but everyone's very insular here. So it's very hard to like pull people into this sort of wave, and
Well, the whole being creative type thing. When it comes to, podcasting, musicians and stuff, it's a very small community.
Well, it feels
Yeah.
personal.
Exactly. It's very personal, and people don't want, much like with bands, like they won't work with you unless they have a connection or maybe a bit of a rapport or a history with you. But I find that's probably the major hurdle in getting everyone on board with something like this. There's still a fear of legitimizing what they're doing.
Yep.
I think there's
Also-
a very casual thing. Like people just want to keep it casual, but
Well,
Do you ever
yes,
feel that?
yes and no, because I know there's a lot of, you see a lot of local radio stations now that, promote their podcasts up on, what's that?
Everywhere.
Online.
Yeah, RTR is pushing some stuff.
Yeah. And there's so many, I can't remember the name of like the app.
Podbean.
Podbean?
Oh,
No?
Anchor.
What is it? I don't know. I haven't listened to RTR FM or 96 FM for ages now.
I know some people.
iHeartRadio.
Oh,
Things
yeah.
like that, where it's big sort of,
Yep.
I suppose, not a kind of like a commercial community around podcast as well. That's something that's booming big as well. There's in the US, there's a thing called Barstool, thing. Have you heard of them?
Very well. I actually know a few people that work for Barstool.
Yeah, well, they do that similar sort of thing where they create like a sort of a podcast community, and they have people come in and do all, and they sort of promote the different podcasts.
Well, they just farm influencers. That's their shows are.
Yeah, their shows aren't that.
Not a big fan.
Yeah. But at least they're doing stuff. Like sort of they're building on that podcast platform, which is cool. But I think what you're probably saying is more the sort of local underground type podcasting
locally here.
Locally here. Yeah.
Well,
I think that people are a bit self-conscious about jumping. I don't know. I could be wrong.
There's about 80 plus podcasts currently in Perth.
That's a lot.
And some of them are getting really big numbers, and some of them are in the
like
negatives.
We're in the negative listeners.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That's when you don't even listen to your episodes. I think that's when you're in the negative. Yeah. You're like, okay, we're done. Okay, all right, back it up.
It sounds exactly like us. Yeah.
Mind you, I will admit, I did listen to some of our old episodes last night.
It's fun going back to through your catalog. Yeah. 80 podcasts.
What's that?
80 podcasts in Perth.
At least.
Yep.
Yeah. There's some of the bigger numbers are here and there, but even the shows that claim to be the biggest, from my own research, definitely not. But there are some big names behind some of these shows. Like Kim Barrett has a podcast. He's like a Facebook ads guy. He has a whole social media company doing promotions and stuff.
Wow.
So he interviews people through his show. But there's one guy, Nathaniel Bibby. He's doing really well. He's a LinkedIn trainer.
Wow. Cool.
And a car podcast, the Pod Filter. They do really well.
That's cool. Yeah, I've never heard of any of these.
Yeah.
No, but that's the thing. Like,
well, that's what that meetup. So I also I got to start that again. I've been real lazy about it, but I've been trying to get a Perth podcaster meetup going. That's a Perth podcast meetup.
I think because you invited us to one Stables.
Yep.
I
Stables,
think we ended up doing a podcast.
We literally.
That's what you said. You said you were recording that night.
Literally recording. Yeah. But keep at it, man.
Oh yeah, no,
someone's got to do it here.
Well, there's a guy. Also, he's called 12 Hats Media. He has a show kind of talking about news about media. But he wants to start a network. He's messaged me recently, saying he wants to meet up with me to kind of chat about it.
That's cool.
But I think he's more interested in creating something like iHeartRadio, where it's more. I have a show for news. I have a show for music. I have a show for this. I have a show for that.
Like a sort of a network that's
more like a TV network.
Yeah,
I want to create a network of just friends. Like
a Mossad media matrix.
Well,
I am the microphone assassin.
There's a lot of people moving to Patreon as well.
Yep.
I think because like there's a need to monetize directly as well.
Yes, there is.
I think, and
but there's other ways to monetize. There's 101 ways to monetize a podcast. That's what I found.
Yep.
I can't talk about everything, but the Goat King Writers Club will be going to Patreon not long from now as well. But we're also looking at doing live shows.
Yep.
So
we've talked about that as well.
Yeah.
Setting up like a talk, like a night talk show, like a late night talk show type thing.
Well, even if you advertise that you would do that, and then you just move this show to next to this window, and then people could just like be out there watching you guys do it
through the window. Yeah,
that's how some of the big radio stations in the cities in the U.S. do it. They'll just have big windows where people can just stop and watch the show happening.
Yeah, so you can visually see like what's happening inside the studio.
Yeah.
We could get people to line up out the front and get like a door person, right? And people lining up because they want to be in the studio. We get some person with a clipboard and they have to check through, and they go through like a prerequisite, a requirement for entry, like on an Ellen DeGeneres show where only the certain people are allowed in. And we just get them to like shoo everyone away. Nah, not you. Okay, nah, not you. And then we don't have to worry about actually bringing people into the studio.
No, you just say, you guys can all be on at once and just hang the microphone off a boom pole and just swing it across the crowd like, hey, oh, thanks guys for coming.
We could have like from your camera, people out in the background with signs, we love you, Daryl.
like those NBC.
Do me, Daryl.
Yeah.
That's what the signs will say.
Have my babies. And that's me standing out. No.
That's you standing out there.
Yeah, we've always talked about a umbrella, not an umbrella podcast network, but just a way to connect everyone together.
Community.
Yeah, community, I guess.
Well,
Yeah,
I've been reaching out to people through Instagram. Instagram's blocked me a few times, just for the amount of messages I'll send in a day, when I'm feeling motivated.
Yeah.
So they think you're spamming, even though each message is pretty much different. I do cut and paste a lot of it, and then just kind of like when I was inviting people to this event. But most of the people I'd already spoken to before, like I think I had spoken to you guys before inviting you to the just through Instagram.
Yeah,
because I've always loved your moody look that you have on your show. It's very cool.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, because our stuff is already, like, in terms of the marketing perspective, like, we already don't really plug. We're pretty bad at plugging. Let's be honest.
Yeah, but you have an audience that you would target right away. I mean, I would just go to Reddit conspiracies.
That's the thing. Yeah. Yeah.
Straight away.
Yeah.
You should be doing crossovers. There's another conspiracy podcast in Perth called Hard Yarns.
We're not a conspiracy podcast.
I would say we are.
Yeah,
Well,
probably, yeah.
I'm sorry.
are.
You don't have to categorize yourself as anything, but there's a podcast that enjoys speaking about conspiracies.
Yeah.
They're believers in QAnon.
Right. Cool. Right.
So it's an interesting topic to get into,
QAnon.
for
Yeah,
sure.
that's a pretty hot potato. Yeah.
Pretty hot potato.
It is a very hot potato.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Wait,
But-
this is a Perth thing?
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
You have to hook me up.
yeah, definitely.
We'll have a clan meeting out the back.
Put your tips together of your mics and
Yeah, I think because we, with the marketing thing, but also, we do touch on topics that I guess the broader audience either wouldn't understand or don't want to listen to.
Yep.
So we feel very much, sometimes I feel definitely backed into a corner, but I think that could be a strength. Because you said it was very, very niche, very targetable, right?
Yeah, you got to find your niche and lean into it. I mean,
and commit to it.
yeah, well,
Don't
I mean,
just
you don't even
beat
have to
around
commit to it, but just know that that's where you're leaning.
Mm-hmm.
So just because you guys have been doing your thing for a while. I wouldn't say change anything. I would say just keep doing what you're doing, but just lean into what you already are doing as far as when you market it.
Yep.
Yeah, I wouldn't change the show at all. I like your shows.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
we just actually need to plug our shows.
I guess that's a good first step, definitely. We've been playing around with Goat King Writers Club, one of my newer shows I'm producing. So I guess Rocket Podcasting, I produce shows, I teach people how to podcast, and I rent my gear out. So that's kind of my business. That's quickly moving to a full-time job, which is really cool.
Nice.
But yeah, media guy. I had broadcast training in the past in the U.S., kind of like a TAFE version of that. It's called the Connecticut School of Broadcasting.
Cool.
There's locations all over the U.S., and they went bankrupt with Freddie May in 2008 while I was going to school there.
Damn.
Did they just stop doing it?
Yeah, that we came back from. I was doing a remote shoot for a project. Came back, 2 or 3 hour drive. We had like a couple $1,000 worth of gear in our trunk. No one called us. There were just signs on all the doors saying, "Sorry, we have no money.
That's it?
Return your gear, and we'll call you soon."
Wow.
Yep. So
How far into the course were you?
75, 80%.
Jeez. Do you still get accreditation for doing that? Or?
Yeah. Well, the Attorney General of the state forced them to open up to finish. So the guy who originally owned the school came back in and bought into the school again, took over that stock that was lost, and now they're going double strong. Now they're doing really well right now.
Right.
They've recovered.
That's good.
Yeah, but through that I was able to learn about radio broadcasting, TV broadcasting, newsroom etiquette, radio etiquette, running board, running a show, producing a show, creating a show.
That's cool.
Learning about
Awesome.
voiceover stuff as well.
Nice.
Yeah, that's the thing. We've had no formal training at all. Yeah.
Yeah, but you're a musician, so you know how to hold mic and you know what to do.
I guess,
Well,
yeah.
we know
You know what an
sort of-
XLR is. Although I
Yeah.
don't know what it stands for. No.
No idea. Some alien word.
XLR.
Yeah.
Xenophobic.
Xylophone, left, right. I don't know. Something like that.
It sounds very technical. I'm in over my head. No, but you guys know what you're doing, so
Trial and error. That's a big thing that a lot of people are ashamed. Like, some people do a few podcasts, and if they don't like it, they'll not do it anymore.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of podcasters come and go.
Well, I'm sure.
Understandably, because it's a hard thing to jump into and to be consistent. That's the thing, consistency. That's a hard thing.
But you guys seem to have gone between different styles as well. I mean, you said you batched episodes in the past, where you were trying to record as many as you could in a short amount of time.
Yeah. That was when we were paying for a studio. Yeah,
right.
Yep,
so now, but why didn't you use your own space at that time? Why did you pay for a studio?
Well, we didn't really have a space.
I think we didn't. We physically didn't have any.
Were you
space,
you were sharing house with people and you couldn't?
No, they're still living with our parents. I think.
Oh, okay.
No.
How old are you guys? Can I?
30. I'm 33.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just how long? I just turned 36.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's moved around a lot. It used to be at my parents' place, and then I think
different studio. We even because there was a time like I was living in Melbourne for a bit, and then got back, and then Daryl moved to Melbourne. So there was a couple of years where there was a bit of sort of like interchange, and we do podcasts every now and then.
It's probably a 2-year gap where we didn't podcast, or just really on and off.
Only like 1 or 2.
Yep. And then when I came back from Melbourne, we rented the hen house, and we were just like, let's go for
Fuck
it.
it.
Just lean into it.
Go for it.
Yeah.
And that's when we did probably 50 episodes there.
Yeah.
And what kind of gear were you using then?
That was with the crappy laptop.
The desktop computer, crappy laptops,
right.
old.
What kind of mics though were you using?
Oh, we had some cheap Behringer microphones.
Just condensers,
Cheap condenser microphones.
Which wasn't that great because at the time at the hen house, there would be bands recording and rehearsing, so we'd get a lot of bleed. But in a
There's
way...
just mattresses on the walls probably there, right? Yeah.
But it added some atmosphere
It added,
to it as well.
While we were talking, if you hear a band rehearsing, it gives that, like... we're kind of doing stuff while there's cool stuff going on.
That's right, Daryl. Yes, it was really fun. Just yelling into the mics.
Just yelling over it. Yeah. But
that's cool. That's cool.
But so we used to do it in batch. Now we do it kind of once a week.
Yeah, once a week we meet up, and if we're not recording something, we'll be planning for the next recording or planning our or editing.
Oh, editing. Now, what do you use for editing?
Adobe Premiere.
Premiere.
Yeah.
Nice.
And
then
Audition.
Audition.
Audio,
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
We used to... I think we went through a phase where we would really micromanage and try and cut stuff out. Then now we just leave it. Like these ones, we just leave it. Yeah.
Start to finish, just
Yeah. Unless I say, wait a minute. From can we just start again? Can we just start again from right now, guys? Please. Ready? Okay.
Beep.
But now we kind of just let these ones go. But if we do a session, which is a more focused one on a particular topic, we'll chop that up to be about a half hour.
Sure.
To be really focused. Yeah. But
that's cool.
We want to do more content, but it's hard to. Sometimes it's hard to justify the time versus what you get out of it.
Well, I think also people don't feel like they're going to get anything out of it in the end. Mm-hmm. They don't feel like there is any reward for all the work. And that's where also people don't feel like they want to spend any money. Like most people won't. These are like what $250 mics. The Zoom H6 is probably $5 something. But once you have it, this is forever. I could throw this mic across the room. We could pick it up, plug it back in, and we'd be good. But people don't see that side of it. They just want to stick with their USB mics, and they don't want to move out of that.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose that's where our music backgrounds come in, where it's just like, well, we do it anyway. We'll drop money into it because we enjoy it, and if we don't get any return, I mean, how many songs have we written? Stuff that we've done that fucking doesn't go anywhere.
I think the cool thing is it's humbling coming from a music background because we get our reward through the actual process. And we just enjoy the refinement of things, and the actual art of doing the podcast itself is the reward for us. So I think that has been a strength, but also a comfort zone because we have to push it further in order to market it, and that's where we're sometimes like we just don't have the energy for that because we're researching so many freaking weird things happening out there in the world.
I was wondering if you guys we're going to end up reaching into like some podcast oddities or something like that today, or If you guys
Who
want to
knows?
just talk podcasting.
Who knows? Whatever
Because
happens.
I can talk podcasting for hours, honestly. But,
Well, what we would really like though is like, surely there's a role where someone can look at your back catalog and chop stuff up for you, right?
yeah,
Something like
definitely.
that,
I
yeah.
mean,
I'd pay someone to do that because I can't listen to my own shit all day. It's just the worst thing. Yeah.
well, that's where I do that.
Yeah.
But as well, I think the best option is usually just finding someone on Airtasker to start with. I mean, I know a couple guys who I was doing video editing for them just to get the feel of their show, to help them structure it. And then I've moved off of that, and they've offloaded all that work in different areas. So they have a guy who does the audio refinement. He'll send it to the video guy. He'll edit the video, send it to a girl who's a journalist, locally student, who will write kind of a script for an intro. And then she'll send that to the voiceover girl who's on the other coast, who's just starting to do voiceover. So she'll do the voiceover of the show, send it back to the video guy. And then it sends it all back, and it's cheaper than hiring me to do all of it.
Wow.
Wow. Okay.
Because, you're just farming out all the stuff to people who are just starting. So, I mean, I normally charge like around $100 for 90 minutes. So, but, that's me coming with gear. I have, a huge gaming rig type computer as well, where I can process, 2-hour video in 20 minutes. So it's, I have the stuff, I've invested the time. So that's when I start stepping it up and I do other things outside of that. So I always just help people like set up the show mainly, and then help them figure out how to offload that stuff. So, I mean, to go through the back catalog, I would just find someone who enjoys this topic and on Airtasker or Gumtree, or just put out an ad. I'm sure there's like an audio student coming up from Murdoch. There's a lot of radio students.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a billion of them that would just step into this, and this is a resume thing.
So this is no longer a podcast. This is a business meeting.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah. This is usually my podcast starts
Yeah,
turning into a
good.
business meeting.
This is good for us because
Yeah.
we are so I have my head buried in the sand when it comes
Because if not,
to
I'll be
this
asking
stuff.
if you're voting for Trump or Biden, but I don't know. Are you still like an American citizen?
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
Are you a registered voter?
I am.
And-
I didn't vote in the last election, and I'm ashamed to say
So
that.
it's your fault.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he
You're
won.
part of the
he
problem,
won.
man.
He won by one vote. So I think, yeah. It's,
No, you don't have to answer that.
well, I mean, we all know here that the American voting system is rigged. So
it is, yeah.
I think all voting systems are rigged. Australia is no better.
Well, I think the mail-in thing is going to make it worse. Maybe. Because of the fact that it's very easy. Very easy to tamper with that, yeah.
The U.S. mailing system is terrible already. The USPS is they're really great people. But the craziest person I've ever known in my life, of all the crazy places I've lived, was my mailman growing up.
Yeah.
He had a mail truck, and he would. I used to work for the town I grew up in, doing drawing the lines on baseball fields. Which is a
line marking.
it's a hypnotic thing when you're just drawing a straight line with a spray paint can and a little walking thing. But I got to know all the mailmen in town, and I used to torment him when I was a kid because I think he might. I don't know. I don't know. He's just a weird guy. But if he had a package delivered, he wouldn't just drive up the driveway and knock on your door and leave it. He would leave his car on the side of the road, his little USPS thing, and he would sprint up at full speed through your yard, drop it, knock like a madman, ring the doorbell like 10 times, like OCD sort of thing, and then just sprint back to the car and then drive to the next house. And he was very fit. I mean, maybe that was his exercise. Maybe he had a routine like that. But
Well, isn't the term going postal actually from
Yes.
a postal service incident that happened many years ago?
it is. It is.
So when
Yes.
someone says you go on postal, what happened? Didn't like a postman shoot up the post office because he was sick of his work or something?
Something like that.
Well, I think postmen are more likely to take their own lives over dentists.
And bus drivers? Bus drivers as well?
I don't know about bus drivers. Public transport, or do you mean?
Like actual bus drivers, I think.
Yeah, I have no idea about that.
I think anyone in the public service sector is more likely to do that, just with the sheer volume of what they're doing.
Well, it just feels like everyone's shitting on you all the time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's understandable, I think, at some level.
Definitely.
Not to mention being attacked by dogs all the time when you have to go and deliver stuff.
Yeah.
Well, when you were my mailman and you'd run up, like, of course the dogs would be going crazy. You're like, he looked like, you know the, what was that? There was that band with a guy with a hatchet. That was the logo. And it was just like a running man with a hatchet.
What?
And everyone got that tattooed on them. And it wasn't ICP, or maybe it was ICP. It was a similar band to ICP, but everyone was obsessed with that in the US for a long time, in the early aughts. But yeah, he always looked like that guy that's like just running at
On the
full
run.
speed through my yard, and the dogs would be going crazy. And I wouldn't be surprised if he was chased by a few dogs in his day, just based off that.
Do you miss it there? Do you miss it back in America? Would you consider? Are you going to stay here for very long? Or?
Definitely, I'm engaged.
Okay, right. Congrats.
Thank you.
Congrats, yeah.
Engaged for 2 years now, so I go between calling her fiance and girlfriend quite often. But yeah, no, definitely going to stay here. I love Perth. Perth is
That's cool.
I grew up in a really small town, and then I spent a lot of time in big cities, and this is the perfect blend.
Yeah, it's a big small town or a small big city.
I think you're small city, big heart.
That's a good way of putting it.
There's a lot more community here than I think what people realize. You know, there's a lot of like more common good happening. I mean, it shows right now, current COVID situation. I mean, we're probably the only place in the world that's actually normal.
It's the best place to be
because everyone's compliant and blind, and
It is a police state here. Yes, it is very much a police state here.
Yeah, it's a bit of a nanny state here.
But it's successful in a lot of own ways. So
Yeah,
I love it here.
We've
honestly.
always said this is the best place to be in terms of what's happening globally. In comparison, definitely.
yeah. They just need to build a big dome over Perth,
No one
and it'll
gets
be
it.
fucking
No,
Perth.
first we have to get Universal Studios here, and then we can build the dome over it. I love a bigger theme park other than an Adventure World. That's my only big complaint is
Yeah. It's weird. When I look at Perth, I see a canvas. You know what I mean? I see a canvas where it's like you can really try. You can try anything here.
oh, like a blank canvas.
Yeah, like a blank canvas. Yeah.
I was
Sorry,
thinking
not
like
canvas.
a ship sail canvas like laid on top of us. I wasn't sure where you're going.
That was a bad metaphor. Yeah, but
just a canvas.
but
Okay.
like it's a blank canvas where
Yes.
you can try whatever you want here.
Yep.
And it's a really good place to do that. It's like a big, gigantic, empty movie set.
Yeah,
That's what I see Perth as, a big
It is.
movie set.
With
there's
real
that
buildings.
room to progress type thing. Room to
Well, there's physically as well. There's just space. There's not a lot of traffic. There's just the right amount of people. And I think it's weird, like, because you have that reference from a busy city like Manhattan. Then you come here and it's like it's got those elements without the madness in a way.
Yeah. I mean, there's obviously a lot of benefits to living in a large city, and I mean we're in a central location right now, undisclosed studio. But yeah, this is similar to what it would be like if you're living on the outskirts of Manhattan or in Brooklyn. Very similar here, like very very similar.
Without
setup.
the amazing pizza.
There's some really good pizza. Alfred's.
Really?
Alfred's has fantastic pizza.
Okay.
Have you been
to
there?
try that.
The
No,
basement. It's like a basement bar.
No. Okay.
Just on the other side of the CBD,
Right.
central
Oh,
area.
actually,
there.
I know where that is. I've seen it before. I haven't actually been there, but I know,
So
I know
cool.
what you're talking about.
Really good pizza.
Yeah, okay.
There's like 4 pizza restaurants I absolutely love here that I think rate very highly against New York pizza.
Wow. Okay. Is Broadway Pizza somewhere on that list?
I've never heard of it.
Broadway's pretty
Oh,
good.
Broadway.
It's in Crawley near UWA.
Okay.
Really
Yeah.
good. Really good.
Okay. No, the ones I know are Primo Pizza. That's on Farrington Road.
Yeah.
And then Hilton Pizza, which is now something else now, or it was
Hilton.
Hilton Pizza. It's on the corner of Carrington and it's in Fremantle area.
It used to be Pizza Express, right?
Yes.
Yes. Hilton Pizza.
Yes.
Yeah.
But the owners, actually, they were siblings of the owners, and they had a disagreement, and they just bought the location and did their own thing.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. That's damn good pizza.
Right. Okay. Maybe we don't have it that bad here.
Yeah, and
That's pretty
none
good.
of these pizza references are referring to anything other than an actual bit of dough
Okay,
some tomato sauce and stuff on, because any of our listeners would probably think we're referring to other kinds of pizza, but
like space pizza.
No, I think he's referring to Pizzagate, which is a really, really
Pizzagate.
yeah.
no, we actually enjoy pizza with tomato sauce and ham. And stuff.
But
regular pizza, guys.
While reading the paperwork that comes in the bottom of the box.
Yeah.
So,
While you order your Wayfair cabinet.
yes.
Your $20,000 pillow. No. Okay.
Actually, there's a pizza there called Jasmine.
Mm-hmm.
That's really nice. There's a pizza there called Jezebel. That's really nice as well. I think it's spelled Jezebel though. I'm not sure. But yeah.
It's got really dark.
Sorry. So podcasting is really fun. Yes, community building activity, fun.
Do it, man. Build your podcast studio.
Well, you know what I always thought would be cool is a podcast studio, mobile one, but like in a Pope mobile.
We were talking about the bus podcast.
Yeah, well, the party bus went past and we thought we should get a party bus and do that up to the podcast bus.
I have someone interested in helping me start a studio currently. A couple of people that I'm working with, and I'm considering whether I should try to talk them into getting a Sprinter.
Oh yeah,
there is actually a pod. I don't know if they're a podcast, but they're a live show called Barefaced Stories.
I've heard of that. Yes.
Very popular in the storytelling writer community here in Perth, and they actually affiliated with a trailer that goes around the whole of Australia. It's a mobile podcast studio. They have a roadcaster with a couple of pod mics in there, and it's all soundproofed out and stuff. Very cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I've reached out to them a few times for whenever they're here, but I think it's actually parked here currently.
That's a really good idea. Just having a mobile studio like that.
But I like the idea of. I mean, as far as like podcast. How baseball inside baseball is what we say in the U.S., but I guess how the sausage is made, bunnies, no onions. It's I think a couple of really big podcasters currently. Andrew Schultz, he's an American comedian. I really follow his marketing methods, and Bert Kreischer as well. So between those two guys, I think I've developed a pretty good system, and you definitely need a hard location where people can come and just look, because people just want to come and gawk, get their head around it, leave, come back, gawk, come back, gawk, and then all of a sudden they're going to be a podcaster one day. Yeah, because people don't have access to gear.
Yeah, it's like having a studio tour where they can physically see a setup.
Yeah, so I want to have open days.
Yeah,
I want to have open days and live sessions where people can, like, comedy podcasts mainly. Yeah, because those are the ones people really enjoy. So kind of there's a podcast, Legion of Skanks, in New York. Yep, they do outdoor shows right now. Gas Digital, they do a lot of community podcasting elements as well. That's in New York. Louis J. Gomez and those guys own that. But yeah, I've been studying the art of podcasting business for a while now, and just applying that all to building a studio.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome.
There's your party bus.
Is there anyone on it this time?
No, this is fucking empty.
Still empty.
It's probably just looking for fun.
A numbers restriction. There's only one person allowed on the bus.
Oh my god! But not at Magnet House. Holy crap! The line for there was nuts.
That used to be called that was Capital.
Capital. Yeah.
Couple years ago.
Yeah.
You would have been here when it was Capital, right?
Yeah. It was Capital last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
It secretly changed its name.
When Post Malone, during COVID, it just relaunched with $1 million light system. Apparently,
yeah.
I read a review that when you go in there,
some smart cameras and
there's definitely some bio tracking happening for sure.
Yeah.
There were some undercover security guards when I went there as well, like plainclothes big dudes. They just looked like some footy players that didn't wear out of they were off the field.
And also, just to say, that's not the place I was talking about on our last podcast. When I was talking about there's a new club in Perth that's got all these. Actually, I forgot to mention they got thermal cameras. They've got all these AI tracking cameras. That's so cool. And all this shit. It's not Magnet House, but
it's another
I wouldn't
club,
be surprised.
Are all the beers like on a shelf like the Amazon store, and when you take it off, it automatically charges you?
It knows
That'd
exactly
be awesome.
who you are.
You'd be that dickhead that throws someone into the wall.
That's crazy. Yeah.
So what happens if someone drove a car into the Amazon store? What do you think would happen? I've been thinking about this. I love ridiculous scenarios and trying to figure out what would happen.
What do you mean? Like just drove through it physically?
Yeah, as an accident. It happens all the time where, elderly people just hit the gas really hard or hit the accelerator really hard and just boom through the front of a shop. So what happens at the Amazon store if someone ran through the front of that shop? Like, do you know about the Amazon store?
I don't think we have Amazon stores.
Well, they're fully automated, right?
Completely.
So there's no staff that work at the...
None.
Yeah.
None. And it tracks you. If you have an Amazon account, I think you have to be... I don't know exactly how it works. I've only seen that on David Dobrik's vlogs. And some other people that did, I think Tech Insider went to the New York one.
You just grab whatever you want off the shelf, right?
And walk out.
Walk out with it.
And then your bank thing comes up that you got charged the exact amount of things you took.
I think if you drove a car through it...
Because all the shelves are pressure sensitive. There's trackers of how many items are there. Cameras around the store following your every move and keeping track of other things as well. I think they have access to your iWatch or whatever.
Wow.
Fuck Jeff Bezos. Fuck that.
Jeffy B's.
Jeffy
B.
That's crazy.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's really crazy.
But again, like if that's kind of the way that the world's leading towards, then I don't know. Like I was talking to a friend last night. I'm still a fence sitter when it comes to this old world versus new world idea of what we're leading into. I mean, it sounds really cool, this idea that everything's automated and it's all running this whole digital tech stuff. I love digital tech stuff. I love it. But part of me just feels like there's some sort of malicious intent behind it. There's like, I don't know.
Well, the amount of data that they have is kind of...
Well, it's not the amount of data they have. It's what are they doing with the data and who has it. And like, you can't trust so many people with this stuff, let alone these big fucking businesses. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, the four horsemen of the techno-apocalypse, yeah.
What are the... tell me about it. I can't name four off the top of my head.
It was Zuckerberg, Sundar Pichai from Google, Jeff Bezos, and Tim Cook. So they're like the four leading dudes that are borderline creating a tech monopoly almost.
So you don't see Elon in there anywhere?
He's
are
not
you guys
really
fanboys or?
John's a big Elon.
Oh, Elon's my boy.
Yeah.
He's my...
I don't know. I'm very much like you. I'm on the fence. I'll call it as I see it, I think. But
yeah,
I'm not sure what to think about Elon. I'd like to think what he's doing.
Well,
is
Elon's
good.
not. What he's doing is not on the same vein as say Google, Facebook, and all them, where they're building this like a social community network where they're taking people's data. Elon's building his own company. He's just doing his own thing.
Also storing data
through
everything. He's helped start PayPal. He understands what it means to commoditize personal information.
Yeah, well, that's just knowing how to do it. I don't think he's actually doing it.
Yep, I have no proof either. But
I don't know. That's a very good point because he did start PayPal. I don't think his wheels are squeaky. I don't think anyone's wheels are squeaky.
Yeah, but
I think he's very altruistic.
I'm trying to work out
definitely.
I think he got fired from PayPal.
What? I thought he bought it.
Well, I read something the other day that he
out.
actually got fired from PayPal. And like essentially they say he sold PayPal, but I think it was PayPal was trying to shoo him out.
I don't know.
Interesting.
Just, yeah. But to me, I don't see Elon on the same level or the same things as what Google, Facebook, and all them are doing.
Definitely a different vein. Definitely different vein, but I think somewhere around there is still capitalist.
Yeah, still very much capitalist. I mean, we talked about how we didn't exactly vote on the amount of satellites going up through Starlink. Like all of these things are happening undemocratically. That's another thing, you know.
Also, the Australian government is going to be part of Space Force,
right?
As well. They were talking about opening up the Australian location in Perth for a while, up at the observation tower. I remember when that was going to be coming in.
Wow.
Yeah.
So the Space Force fingers are in pies in Australia currently.
Yeah.
I think
What is Space Force
old Clivey P as well.
Fucking Space. I don't understand what Space Force is for.
It's for the protection and the ownership of space, of course. So it's I think it's I mean, this is the other part where I'm kind of saying, okay, well, Elon, yes, he's altruistic. Yes, he's doing this stuff because he sees that's where the future is happening. But he's also kind of given up on Earth then, because he's trying to develop this way to leave Earth.
Yeah, well, if I had that amount of money, I'd be doing the same thing.
But he's working directly with NASA. I mean, his rockets are meant to bring people to the ISS, which is probably the most centralized government.
Yeah, but I think he's overtaken NASA. I think like NASA's becoming his little bitch.
Sure. Yeah, in his little backpack.
Yeah.
NASA's like the boomer version of space, right? There's a bunch of boomers running around trying to still be relevant when it comes to space. But yeah, I mean, SpaceX, that's the new sexy rebranding of space travel, right?
Yep.
SpaceX. You know.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah,
It reminds me of the Jetsons.
Yeah.
Again.
Jetsons. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I agree with that, is that sometimes I have to unplug from what we have as, just attached to digital objects all the time. We're pretty much bionic in some ways.
Yeah.
I love it when I lose my phone.
You kind of feel liberated for a while, right?
So
You're
nice.
just like, I guess I don't
Like,
have to look at that thing. No.
Leave your car on the phone. I did that the other day. I went to the
Leave your
super-
car on the phone.
What's that?
Did I say that?
Yeah.
Oh,
You have a Tesla? Is that why?
leave my phone in the car.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I walk around and like, well, actually, I feel good because first of all, no one can actually track where I'm going. Second of all, there's no sort of distractions, and I'm just it's good. It is good being cutting yourself out of that technological.
Yeah, we were
realm.
talking about how, we are really being trained to look for notifications, wait for replies, look at who's seen our messages and stuff.
Yep.
I don't mean to be too personal, but when you said that you took a break from social media for a while, right?
Yeah. It was meant to just be a weekend.
Yeah.
And I mean, I would say, in the same generation.
I would say so. Yeah.
My first smartphone was actually when I moved to New York in 2001. 2000. That's when I got my first HTC because I needed Google Maps because the city is just crazy. But yeah, I had a flip phone for the longest time. And then, I only got in social media, I think, a few years ago, fully. I started a business called Mossmen, where I was making one-off terrariums for people, mossarariums.
Fuck yeah.
Yep.
I'll buy one.
What's a moss?
It's like a little ecosystem plant thing,
Yep.
right?
It's a self-enclosed ecosystem.
Wow.
Only habited by plants and maybe insects if there was some laying around.
That's cool. Yeah.
So I harvest moss from the forest this time of year, and make like whole setups with little sticks and tufts of indoor plants and tropical plants in there. That was a lot of fun. But yeah, through that I was like, okay, well, I got to start marketing this. I'll market through Instagram. I was only using Instagram here and there because my missus was using it, and she told me Isabella, no, you got to get on there because I want to send you posts that are funny. Okay. And I like memes, so I just joined for the meme.
Yeah.
And then I said, I'll try to promote my business. And it did really well, really quick. Actually, I got lots of customers through Instagram. I said, okay, this is a way to make money. And that's how I make my money now that's how I market myself now. But since I took a break, that weekend turned into like 3.5, almost a month, 3.5 weeks, 4 weeks. I actually got more customers in that time period than I did all the time promoting myself on Instagram.
It's weird, huh? You can't watch a kettle boil.
No.
Yeah, it happens when you're not there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you feel better after that month of just not tuning out a bit?
I was pretty detached from it already. But I was getting worried that my posts weren't getting likes or some shit like that. And, I was thinking about that sort of stuff, but helping people create shows and then seeing them do well gives me more satisfaction than my own post doing well. So if I have, I think, something like 600 followers on Instagram, if all of those people paid me, I would have like a corporation. So if only 5% of those people are paying me to do work, then that's awesome. and I think I'm about 1% right now. But
no, you'll get there.
yeah, I mean, I'm happy. I'm happy with that. I don't need some crazy amount of whatever. But I would like to build this up, and if Spotify wants to come buy my company
for 100 million.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind. I won't say no.
And buy that yacht.
Have you experienced anything paranormal? Because Connecticut is a hotbed of paranormal activity because of the whole witch history there. Right?
I actually worked on a Discovery pilot.
Wow.
For a ghost hunting show.
Mm.
And the only thing I saw as a camera operator was the host hiding under a bed waiting to scare me.
So it was rigged?
All of it.
Damn.
I spent a few nights in some haunted houses that people were walking around claiming they got scratched. We had a medium. I did 4 nights.
Right.
Within a month shooting the pilot episodes. And I mean, I believe in that stuff. I believe fully in paranormal activity, everything. I'm a full-on believer of aliens, the whole gamut. But I'm practical, and I know when someone's trying to just make money.
Yeah.
And so maybe those situations are real at some point.
Mm-hmm.
I did work with some people, I don't know, through Connecticut Haunting Stories, if you've heard of the Webster Theater. But it was a very haunted place. My friend grew up working theater there, still does. And he's experienced quite a bit.
Right.
Up in the catwalks.
That's a hard thing because when you're filming a show, you need something to happen. So a lot of that shit's contrived, which is kind of sad because it really waters down the real stuff, right?
Well, it just upset me too. The host was trying to egg on the children he was like, "You're not real. I don't think you're real. Come out and prove it to me." And it just put me off.
Yeah.
But it didn't lead me astray from my belief in the fact that they're real.
Yeah.
But no, I've experienced, actually, my grandfather may or may not still be haunting my parents' house.
He's still there.
Supposedly.
Yeah.
My dad says he experiences a lot of things all the time currently.
Well, the energy could be there.
Or something like that. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, because Connecticut has a lot of like witchcrafty stuff, right?
I mean, Salem is not far away.
Salem witchcraft. The Haunting of Connecticut, isn't that like a very famous...
This is a TV show. Yeah. I mean, I think Connecticut is one of the first places where they documented ectoplasm as well. So
right,
there's some stuff there about that. But that's when the kid, or when you see the medium. Have you ever seen it?
I think so. When stuff like a actual goo comes out of a person. Yeah.
So I think that's
fucking weird. Wasn't the Conjuring?
Daryl's very quiet about this. Are you a non-supporter of this topic?
No. Well, I don't want to talk about it.
He just scares. He scares very easily. So.
Oh, okay.
Plus, I've experienced a lot of very strange things in my life that have made me question my reality.
Was it the Conjuring?
I think it was
based in Connecticut.
Yeah.
That was from that family, that notorious family that had the doll. The Annabelle doll.
Yep.
And they have it's like a tourist. It's a tourist destination now. Yeah.
There was a Netflix show, a couple movies.
Yeah.
I think even parts of what was that one with the girl who like came out of the TV? I think parts of that movie also.
Oh, The Ring.
I think some stories came from
that. Yeah.
That was probably the most traumatic movie I've ever seen in my life. That I was scarred from that video.
The Japanese version or the American remake?
American remake.
Yeah, with Sarah Michelle Gellar.
I don't remember who was in it. I just remember the finger going onto the nail.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit.
I think the Amityville Horror was also based in that area.
Possibly. I think that was actually based on what I was talking about, Torrington, Connecticut.
Yeah.
On the Webster Theater. And there's a lot of weird stuff has gone there in the past.
Yeah.
But, it's Connecticut is home to a lot of unmarked Native American burial grounds.
Yeah.
So they were very well connected to the earth, and there's got to be something to that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Same with here. Here. There's a lot of unmarked graves, I'm sure, here in Perth.
Possibly. I haven't seen any myself. Yeah.
Well,
they're not marked. We built on top of them. You're not going to see them.
Unmarked graves. So actually, you would never see them.
I mean, like, I haven't heard anyone stumbling upon anything like that. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I go to Murdoch. I work at Fiona Stanley occasionally.
Mm-hmm.
I live in that area. I walk in Bibber Lake Park, and that's all was all ancient lands. The wetlands, gathering areas. And
Bibber Lake, that's my work hood.
oh yeah.
I work there. Yeah.
Okay. So you're not far from Prima Pizza. Farrington Road. It's just behind.
Oh yeah, no, I take Farrington all the time.
Yeah.
We got to write these down. All these good.
But Farrington's on the other side of the freeway, not the.
When you're going down south and you get off on Farrington, take a right, and it's just in the you take a left, and it's just in the first plaza.
I know the area. Yeah,
there's a couple. There's a Korean barbecue. There's a couple of restaurants, and then Prima Pizza and a fancy IGA.
Big fan of the IGA. Yeah.
Connecticut.
Probably built on a burial ground.
That's why it's so nice.
Because you got there's a lot of weird stuff. There's like a Stonehenge replica there. Is that right?
I've never heard of that.
Yeah.
In my town, though,
Right.
there's a very famous cemetery called the Green Lady Cemetery.
Okay.
Where on some
nights there's a green lady there.
Yeah, well, there's this one in my town. There's one road, basically, that goes in and out of town. And to this day, actually, there's still only about 3 stoplights in town.
Right.
Everywhere else is just back roads. So you can easily get lost if you don't know where you're going very quickly. And there's this one road that's just still dirt to this day. They never paved it or anything. And there's this old cemetery where long ago in like early 60s, some seniors in high school as a joke broke off some of the headstones and brought it down to Florida for spring break. And some stones fell down from the cliff on one of these remote beaches they were on, which I've never heard of a cliff beach in Florida, by the way. But somewhere down there, or maybe it was North Carolina, they experienced something. And the stone that actually killed the kid was the headstone that he had broken off.
Whoa.
And so from there, we had this green lady that was awakened every year, and people, I've seen her, like the green lady floating, or green mist.
Wow, wait, back up. Yeah, wait.
I guess I did have a ghost experience.
That's a total ghost experience.
Yeah, just drove right through it. But
you saw a green lady floating?
Yeah, it's like a floating pretty high up.
How old were you at this time?
17. I was just driving.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Actually, no, I started driving when I was 18, so I was 18. Yeah.
100% you saw a floating green lady.
Definitely. It was very late at night, maybe 2 a.m.
Wow.
So it was this is the type of place where, the stars are brighter than the houses at nighttime.
Yeah.
So
it's weird because
full moon.
Whenever I think East Coast America, I just immediately, for some stupid reason, imagine that it's all city. But it's not. There's a lot of rural areas that with just nothing around this forest.
It's mainly rural.
Yeah.
From Maine until just outside Boston, it's like almost completely rural.
Yeah.
It's a Canadian border almost all the way down. Maybe Lake Placid is a pretty big area. Upstate New York, there was the Olympics there one year.
Yeah. There's just so much history in so many like backcountry towns there.
Ben and Jerry's.
Yeah. That's crazy because we don't have a lot of stuff here is really new, right? We don't have that long-standing history.
We kind of do, but we never go there because, say from Perth you go take the northern coast where you go up through to Geraldton and then up through to Exmouth and all that sort of stuff. There's nothing there. That's why no one ever goes there. Mm-hmm. If you want to drive from Perth to Geraldton, there's a few things along the way, but then beyond that, there's nothing.
Yeah.
So no one.
But
I guarantee that
nothing that you want to stop to look at.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. But guarantee there's probably some ancient type
stories,
traditional things and stuff around the place. But
my town celebrated the town I grew up. Well, I spent most of my childhood. I grew up in a couple of towns, but where I spent the bulk of the time being an adolescent. Celebrated its bicentennial, and then 5 years later I moved here and they celebrated their bicentennial of Perth. So my small town has multiple roads called George Washington Turnpike because he was known to travel that route.
Right.
The old church in town was like from the early 1800s, and a lot of buildings are still there from the 1800s. And have you ever seen the movie Mr. Nobody?
Yes.
Jared Leto?
Jared.
Where he lives like till he's like 100 and something or something? Yeah.
Last human.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good movie.
So living out multiple timelines at the same time based off of large decisions.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was that? I don't know. Anyway, yeah.
Something just fell in the kitchen.
I don't know.
Jeff.
Do you want to give another plug to what you're involved in? And where people can find you and stuff?
I have no website. Even though I'm really boring on social media, I contact everyone through Instagram and Facebook. Rocket Podcasting. I have my Smash Room coming up, Broken.
I want to know about that.
Broken Perth.
Broken Perth. Yes.
So I'm insured. I just I had a warehouse. I was ready to go, but the guy subletting me the space rented out the whole floor. So I just moved everything into a storage unit, and I'm like struggling. I already gave notice to leave the storage unit, so I'm just forcing myself. I have like 3 weeks to figure something out, which has been difficult.
If I think of something, I'll let you know.
I just need a raw corner of a warehouse, honestly.
Just here, over.
That'd be sweet. It wouldn't be bad. It wouldn't be bad. But it's very loud. So anyways, that's gonna be going probably by the time this is. I don't know, when is this coming out?
In a week about? I'd say within a week.
Go check it out.
Yeah.
I do one-on-one coaching. I do Zoom calls for coaching as well for a little bit cheaper. And I'm going to have a class, like a web stream people can sign up for once in a while, where you launch your podcast in a few days. And I'm currently producing the Courageous Leaders podcast, which is a spiritual women's type of thing. The Goat King Writers Club, which is a comedy freelance not real, but fiction story podcast, where we do accept some real stories. Also producing a few shows for Murdoch University, producing a millionaire interview show called Swag, where he interviews all the Perth multimillionaires, self-made multimillionaires.
Oh,
wow.
Where's my invite?
The local Illuminati, basically.
The 1%.
And and then look out for my unnamed show, which I'll take clips from this and make it my episode.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So
nice one.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on, man. No, really appreciate it. That was a fucking awesome chat.
Do we do our own plugs?
If you want, yeah.
Find us on Instagram and
Spotify, Apple Podcasts,
Google
Podcasts,
and
YouTube.
Become part of the crew.
Yes, the crew.
Yes,
the crew.
But spelled like Motley.
I like that one.
Yeah,
I like that one.
Right.
The crew.
We are looking to move to Patreon pretty soon.
We
well.
are.
Yeah, to have more content on there.
We'll have.
Well, we'll talk about that off mic if you have a plan for that.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening. Keep it real. Gonna play some funk. Play some funk. Yeah. Thanks, Brian.
Thank you.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.